A lot of it is silly. I don't pay attention to silly.
Well,
okay, but
But it's silly that's affecting lives. It's silly that they're teaching children. It'd be fine if it was silly and it was a cartoon in a magazine or something, but it's not. It's on a very granular level. Why?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on Bill Maher's podcast, where he is talking to Fran Lebowitz, noted New York writer of long date, been around for decades. And, you know, she's a feminist and a liberal and all that. And they're just talking about various topics. In this part of the video, the clip we're going to be taking a look at, it's about, you know, what is a Democrat? And Bill, as usual these days, is saying, well, the Democrats, they left me behind. You know, I'm an old school liberal, that kind of thing. Kind of how I describe my own family. Virtually everybody in my extended family, well, everybody is some sort of liberal of some kind or leftist, but a lot of them I would call old school liberals. But let's let Bill Maher and Fran Lebowitz talk about it, and I'll hop in when I have something to say, as usual.
It's very different than it ever did.
well, there's a lot of things that are better now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you wouldn't know this, but it is a billion times better to be a girl now than when I was a girl.
Right, there you go.
There's
That's the kind of thing I'm talking
There's
about.
no comparison.
Right.
I mean, there's not, and it's not good, it's not perfect, but it's a billion times better.
No, keep talking, honey.
You know, I mean, there's no comparison. You know, I mean,
You're right.
when I was
Right.
when I was a girl, if you asked to do something, and your parents said no, and you say why, the answer very frequently was because you're a girl.
Yes.
And
Yep.
and the response was, oh.
Right.
I mean, my response wasn't like to start, you know,
Right.
a feminist movement. My response was, oh.
Right.
No.
No.
I mean, and that was common.
That, you know, I just object to this thing. Steven Pinker, I stole this from, I didn't steal it, I give him credit, but I did a thing about it. He called this progressivophobia, that there is something on the left that does not want to admit progress because somehow it equates with, but we should be doing more. Yes, of course, we should always be doing more. Can we just be adults and just imagine that as we begin the conversation, we've already agreed on that, as we have.
Well, this is where I already disagree with liberals and Democrats and progressives, especially those who call themselves progressives, because that is their mindset. They should always be doing more. There's always more progress to be made. You know, we're working our way towards that utopia. But in fact, there is no such thing. There is no utopia. And in working towards utopia, you slowly create a hell on earth. And this is something I've seen, like Ben Shapiro and people of a similar persuasion. They talk about tikkun olam, you know, that this is some tenet of the Jewish faith, apparently. Repair the world, I think it means, something like that. We have to fix the world. No, the world is a fallen place. Fix yourself, fix your family, you know, improve yourself, improve your family, help your people, help your tribe. But fixing the world, repairing the world, impossible. And in so doing, you will destroy your own local community, your own family, your own country. It's madness. And that's one of the things I detest about the whole progressive mindset.
We should always be doing more. We are not perfect and we are not just enough. There's a lot of more work to do, a lot more. And there's this other side of the story, which should be celebrated. I mean, progressives, it's right in your name. That's what you should be celebrating, progress.
Well, I know we don't agree on this, and I also didn't mention
Well, you
this.
just said you...
But I agree on that.
Oh.
But this, which I'm about to say. I know last night I did a speaking date here in L.A., and I take questions from the audience for 1 hour. First question, shouted at me. Why did Bill Maher say this and this and this, which I didn't see you say because I didn't see the show, and he's becoming a conservative. And why is that happening? I said, first of all, I'm not in charge of Bill Maher. Okay? Like, he does not consult me on what his opinions are. But he supposed to, I said, and second of all, as far as I know, Bill Maher is not a Democrat. He's a libertarian. Is that not true?
I don't ascribe to any of those names. I've never formally said I was a Democrat except maybe once when Trump was in office, and I was like, okay, we can't fuck around anymore, whoever the Democrat is. And look, I voted mostly for the Democrat. I would say more than libertarian. The Joe Rogan, I heard him talk about it, and very appreciative. He was saying, you know, old school liberal. is really the right term.
Well, that's what I am. I always say,
and it is.
I'm a very
And that's
conventional.
a very different thing than woke. And if you want to be ignorant and think being old school liberal is the equivalent of conservative, you're naive about politics, and you're tribal, which is our big problem. No, I'm not a conservative. I'm always going to call it as I see it, always have, and it always has been somewhat from both sides. But yes, the left is nuttier now than they used to be by a good measure, and
Yes,
they're
but
doing.
the right is much worse.
They are too. I agree.
No, not much worse
And
than they used to be, but much worse.
And I don't fail to make that point. Right. So anyone
I
who
was
wants
not the one who said.
No, I know.
Why did Bill Maher say this?
And I'm so sorry that you have to answer for me. It's so ridiculous.
It didn't just happen that night. Sometimes in the street, people stop me and
The
go,
street?
why did Bill Maher say this? And I say, I don't know. Why don't you ask him why he said
you
this?
You know what? If you can, I would.
Do I even believe this? Why would anybody ask Fran Lebowitz why Bill Maher said something? Makes zero sense, you know? Doesn't make sense at all. Plus, they're talking over each other here anyway.
I'd say to those people, if you don't have an open mind, don't watch the show, because that's who I do it for. Really, I could take it. I have lost some audience, and they're tribal people, and it's fine. You know, it's like good riddance. I'm not interested in people like that. I'm interested in people, especially the ones who are like, you know what, I am mostly in the liberal bubble. It probably would be good to hear another point of view. And again, I do most of my material against the right, but doesn't matter. They are in the tribal bubble of where I only want to hear what I already think I know, and I don't want to have my side challenged because the other side is so bad. The other side is so bad. I still want to hear the whole truth.
I don't. Because it's not the truth. If it was the truth, I would.
Oh,
you know, but
well, there we go. The other side is not the truth. So there we have it. You know, there's never the twain shall meet, basically, is what she's saying. And frankly, I agree with her there. You know, maybe instead of just saying, oh, the left and the right need to move more towards the center, why don't we just talk about individual policies and see where each person stands?
You know, I said to someone recently, I didn't used to hate Republicans. I just disagreed with them. There's a difference, you know. But the people who are Republicans now, I mean, professional Republicans, they're nothing like Republicans used to be.
Of course, they're not.
And they're basically...
neither are the woke. Anything...
Neither are the Democrats, not just the woke, actually, Bill Maher. Yeah, I would say the Democrats and the Republicans are equally as bad these days, in different ways perhaps, but equally as bad.
Like Democrats.
But here's the thing, this woke stuff, I mean, the reason that it bothers people so much, I think, is because there's a lot of silly stuff attached to it. I agree.
Oh.
Some of it is just silly.
It's silly stuff
Yes,
that actually
but the
affects a
center
lot
of
of lives.
Is not silly. The center of it is real.
No, I wouldn't call it the center. The past of it. When the word was first out there, it meant alert to injustice. Yes, great. No one can argue with that. Certainly not me. Certainly it's been a theme of mine since I was on television beginning in the 90s. So, okay, it morphed into something that was an eye roll.
Yes, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
You know, to me, I don't really care about it because a lot of it is silly. I don't pay attention to the silly. Okay, but you know,
but it's silly that's affecting lives. It's silly that they're teaching children. It'd be fine if it was silly and it was a cartoon in a magazine or something, but it's not. It's on a very granular level. Why do you think parents are like? Why do you think DeSantis got 60% of the vote
in Florida?
He's in Florida.
Florida's not the world. Let me say
Florida's
something.
not the world. It's not the world, but you know what it is? It is an absolutely great epitome of America because it's a little of everything. It's ethnic, it's Jews, it's rednecks, it's the panhandle, you got it all in Florida.
It's the Confederacy.
It's not the Confederacy.
Okay, it wasn't the Confederacy.
South Beach is the Confederacy?
No, South Beach is...
Okay,
South
well, that's
Beach,
where most of the votes are.
not his votes.
Yes, the Redneck Riviera is not only the Confederacy, it's the seat of the Confederacy. There's nothing more Kid Rockish than the panhandle of Florida.
So to me, there's a difference. I don't care what Kid Rock thinks. He's a musician.
He's a great musician, by the way.
He may be. But I mean, I don't care one way or the other what he thinks. You know, he's not the governor.
No.
He doesn't make laws. You know,
he does visit the White House when Trump's in office.
People, including you, just a few minutes ago, say things like, "New York is a bubble. It's a bubble. You have no idea what's going on. New York City, you live in a bubble."
I didn't say New York.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Oh, I didn't.
No, you didn't. There are other people. The people who say New York is a bubble, you don't understand. I always say almost 9 million people live in New York City. Every possible kind of person on the planet Earth lives in New York City. There's no, I take the subway, and sometimes I look around the subway car, and with a gun to my head, I could not identify the race of most of the people in the subway car.
Well, there we have it, yeah. So apparently, according to Fran Lebowitz, New York is not a bubble. And yes, of course, there are 8 million people in New York City. Every person's an individual, but we know very much. We know that there is a concentration of a certain type of liberal in New York City. That's absolutely true. And yes, a lot of people, especially people from more traditional cultures and backgrounds, won't be liberals in the American sense of the term. But it doesn't matter because they're completely drowned out by the liberalism that runs rampant in New York City. And which, is the fruits of which are we can see this very day, as we can in many other big American cities. And as we can in the city where I live, in Brussels, Belgium, and in other European cities. The liberal conservative paradigm doesn't transfer really to European countries, but the ideas are the same. Just leftist policies are wreaking havoc on the native population, the native European population in European countries. And I think it's going to continue like that until the native Europeans decide they've had enough. Let me know what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I will see you in the next video.